Thanksgiving was last week, and Tara's family came to visit, and Tara's parents are going to be retiring in like a year and a half.
Yeah, they'll both be retiring from their teaching careers.
And so Tara's dad wants to start a business when he retires. Now, his situation is such that they don't need a lot of money, but he wants something to stay busy and he wants to make some supplemental income. So I think it was after Thanksgiving dinner, he starts talking to me about business and saying that he wants to start a business. And if I'm being honest, I actually got a little nervous. Why did I get a little nervous? Because I know that starting a business isn't easy. And in my mind, it was like, okay, he's almost done. They're almost ready to retire. He has a decent, I think he has pretty good, I don't think it's called pension, but benefits. Like they have some savings, their house is paid. Maybe I'm sharing too much information, but they didn't have a lot of expenses. And I was excited for him to be able to enjoy his retirement and also didn't want him to take a bunch of risks. I was like, oh no, what if he takes a bunch of his savings, puts it into his business? But I also know that he wants to make a little extra money. He wants to stay busy. Right. He starts sharing his business idea and I'm like, oh, okay, here it goes. I don't want to like burst his bubble or anything like that. But I know the realities of business. I know his age and he's getting old, not too old, but he's ready to retire and all these things. And so then he's like, I'm thinking about starting a car rental business. And I was just like, yes, I love that. Why did I love that for him?
I mean, it fits his personality, fits his skill set, fits his lifestyle. So it was a good fit for what he wanted and the goals he set and the financial goals that he had. So it was like, and he loves it. Like he loves cars.
He loves cars. He's familiar with cars. He understands cars. For us with business, we like to take business risks or business opportunities that are high probability of success and very low to no risk, right? I think that's what we all want. So I love this for him because he can buy a car at under market value because he's really good at that. He's already done it and he could resell it for a profit. So he would be buying cars that are about $10,000 with the goal of making $500 per month per car. And that's a great return. That's like a 60% annualized return minus whatever it costs. For him at the beginning, it would be some of his time. And I love this for him for multiple reasons. I love it because it's very low risk because the cars that he would be buying are already used cars. So he has a plan B, right? He can buy one car, $10,000. If he doesn't rent them out, if it's not working, he can turn around, he can sell it a week later and be totally fine. He's risked very little. He's not taking hundreds of thousands of dollars, putting it out there. I also love it because he can start with one car. So he can get his foot in the door. He can learn a ton from this. There's a ton of information that he doesn't currently fully have that he thinks, business is all about making a theory, a hypothesis. We think something, we think that there will be a certain outcome based on information that we have. It might be that we listened to a podcast or watched a YouTube video, did some research. It might be that we have a job or we have experience in a thing. So we have this hypothesis based on information that someone else gave us or that we have from a personal experience that we have or we think might happen. So it allows him to take this action that will either confirm or change the information that he had. Like he might be able to make $600 per car or $700 per car, or he might make $300 per car. And he's like, okay, it's not as good as I thought. But then he'll also be able to see, where can I improve these things? All of the education that he gets after he's taken action, he'll learn so much more for you, 10x the amount of information that you take in once you've taken action. So I was really excited for him and got me fired up. I love talking about business. Family reunions, I always manage to talk about business. But my new goal is to not to like burden people with me talking about business. So I love that he came to me. It's pretty funny because your mom was like, wanted to get my approval first, get our approval before she gave him the go ahead.
We may need to add a little marriage therapy in there.
So it was great because he can get started. There's little to no risk. He can do one, then he can do two, then he can do three. And then he gets to the point where he has a nice $5,000 to $10,000 business that he can hire someone else to do because then he'll know the numbers. If he can make a 60% return, but then you hire someone else and the margins might go down. Maybe it goes to where it's 30 or 40% margin, but he's not doing the work. And it'll give him some flexibility because they want to do some traveling and things like that. So that was really exciting. So I want to bring that up. But the main point of the first part of the Build My Money Machine, we talked about mindset. We talked about taking action. We talked about coming up with your business idea. I feel like so many people spend so much time trying to think of this perfect business idea. And the truth is there are so many ideas. There's so many different things you can do, and they all will work. You just have to think of what is going to work best for you. And don't overthink it. Like, I love this idea for your dad because it's a no-brainer. It works for him. It's very low risk. It's something he loves. It's something he's passionate about. He can scale it easily. It's awesome. So let's talk a little bit about the situation with our daughter yesterday. Do you want to share a little bit about Britlyn and what's recently happened with her?
Yeah, so our daughter Britlyn, she's 16 and she graduated early from school. So she's nannying and she was going to pick up some more nanny hours and it's not available. And so Justin and her were having a conversation and she's a go-getter. She's self-motivated. It takes a lot of self-motivation to have a business that we do know. And so Brogan, who's actually 19, is just getting a job learning sales because he lacks some of that organization and self-motivation at this point. And so he's learning work ethic. But Britlyn, she's got that work ethic and that desire and that passion. And so she's going to start doing some e-commerce and explain more what you guys discussed.
Yeah, so we were talking and she's like, okay, I need to get another job nannying. And I was like, or you can get another job. And then I was talking, I was like, I know you've always wanted to start a business. You're 16. Why don't you just go for it? What is holding you back? And you could tell she was like, she got like, well, she's like, I don't know, I'm kind of scared. And also we talked about it's not guaranteed money. You got to build something, you got to create something. But I'm just like, Britlyn, your parents literally run a company called Millionaire University. We interview people, or our team interviews people. We can share things with you, but not only do we need to share things with you, there's so much information out there of people that will literally teach you how to make millions of dollars. If you're young, you should go for this. And so she got excited and she's like, okay, I want to go for it. Let's do it. I'm like, you live with us. Why would you not go for this? And the money that you can make is 10 times more than anything. And once you build that up, it'll serve you for the rest of your life. So she was getting pretty excited and we were talking and we were saying, okay, what next? And at first it's like, okay, go listen to a bunch of podcasts and YouTube videos, do a bunch of research, figure out what you want to do. So it's like, what do you want to do? We got to figure out what you want to do. And I'm like, okay, hold on. We've had this discussion before. We've talked about it. And you guys have probably heard us talk about the AB formula. Now, we got to come up with a different name for that because it's called any business formula, right? It's not that clever, but it's basically you can start anywhere, come up with either a topic or a business model. And by business model, I mean SaaS, e-commerce, education, home services, a rental business. And by rental, I mean it could be houses or cars, or it could be renting out anything. We just got done writing our e-foils with my cousin. We could rent out e-foils. It could be flipping something. It could be houses, could be real estate, but it could be couches or buying and selling anything, right? So those are a bunch of different types of businesses. If you love food and maybe worked in a restaurant, maybe that industry could be brick and mortar. So you can come up with a topic. If you have a topic that you're passionate about or interested in, have knowledge in, you could start there. If you are a programmer and you have lots of software ideas, you could start there. So topic, business model, or it could be marketing and sales. If you have done sales, if you have sales experience, if you have marketing experience, you're a digital marketer, you could start there and say, okay, I want to do something related to sales or marketing, or not even related to, but it's like, I'm good at sales. If you're good at sales, it's like, okay, I can sell the heck out of stuff. I'm going to go sell. And then it's like, what do you want to sell? So for our daughter, we were talking about this. And I was like, we've already talked about the business model that it sounds like you want to do. So let's just start there. Rather than you go spend the next week or days, how fast can you get going? Right? We're literally in the car. We went to the bank. We came back. And before we even got out of the car, we're like, okay, we don't need to wait a month for you to come up with your business idea. We don't need a week. We don't need to wait a day. And we figured out right now. So that was kind of the challenge we had in the car before we came in. So I said, we've talked about it before, and you keep coming back to e-commerce, physical products many times. So is that what you want to do? Would you want to do education? Would you want to do home? No, no, no. E-commerce is what she wants to do. So I'm like, okay, we know you want to do e-commerce. So what comes to your mind? Is there anything that comes to your mind right now? Because you just want to get started, really. Because when you get started is when you're going to learn the most. And she's like, yes. And she pulls up her phone and she has all these pictures and these notes of these flowers that are handmade flowers that she really wants to make and is really thinks are cool. And there's these bouquets and she's showing me these things. She's passionate. And I'm like, yes, that's it. Do that. And so it was awesome. So that's what she's going to focus on selling. And I was like, okay, so tomorrow, what are you going to do next? She's like, oh, I don't know. Should I learn about marketing themselves? Or I could go like start making them. I'm like, yeah, go make them. And she had all these questions. She's like, well, they take a certain amount of time and all this stuff. I'm like, okay, how long do you think it'll take? How much do you think you can sell them for? So we figured out the hourly, and she figured that, yeah, she thinks that she could get to a point where she can make $50 an hour. She has to create the demand. She has to get the people that are interested in it. Okay, cool. So if you can get to the point where you can make $50 an hour, then do you think you can find people that will make them for you for $15 to $20 an hour? It's like, oh, definitely. So what has she done? If she does that, she's now making money off of what other people are doing. And then we talked about once she gets the marketing going and she gets an interest, then she can consider outsourcing it and having them manufactured on a bigger level and then getting it done for really cheap. My siblings own a swimsuit company that they have these swimsuits that are made for $7, $8, and they sell them for 70 or 80. And they do sales that do 20% off, sometimes half off, but they still make such great margins because they have them manufactured. So that's what we were talking about. She's really excited. She already made her first flower, and it looks awesome. So
Yes.
I don't know that this is going to be her end all be all business, but many, many things are happening by taking action. When we talk about taking action, what do we mean, Tara? Do we mean reading a bunch of books? I mean, that's taking action.
Yeah. It's essentially what moves the needle. And so usually sales are the things we avoid the most. And there are other details you need to figure out, but it really is, how can I get this product out to the world as fast as possible and be able to fulfill it while also moving the needle, making money, supporting my business?
So by her saying, hey, this is what I'm going to do, she's working through the mind, the mindset game. She's not like, hey, I need to do a bunch of research on this thing. She's making it. And then she's passionate. She was super excited today, right? She went to a bunch of different stores. She ordered some things online. She made her prototype, and she's not done making the prototype. She's going to finish making it. And then after that, she's going to have to try to sell it. So that's another mindset thing. And she'll realize that I don't have to know everything about marketing. I just have to see, does anyone want to buy this? At the beginning, and we talked about this in the sales and marketing module. What are your warm contacts? Do you have warm contacts? Start there. She could create a demand of people wanting to buy these flowers within her warm network. And then from there, she gets referrals. They refer to other people. And what she'll be doing is she's now making these flowers. So she's posting them on Instagram, and she's getting other people interested, and people are following her. And eventually she can outsource it, maybe get them made for $5, or I mean, she thinks she can sell the bouquets for 70 or $80. And then she can get these made for really cheap, and she can have a following, or she can do paid ads, because now at the very beginning, she may not want to do paid ads because the goal is to start with little to no money, take little risk at the beginning, prove the concept. She'll then have testimonials, people talking about it, people that are excited. She can have an email list, right, of customers or people that are interested. And that's how you grow a business. That's how you eventually scale a business. So I don't even care if this is the end all be all thing that she does, but her getting out of her comfort zone, learning how to talk to people more, how to sell things, maybe learning some marketing, doing some stuff on Instagram, gaining confidence that, wow, I made this thing and got some money from it. And then I had someone else make it for me, and I got money from them. I leveraged, right? We're going to talk about leverage more next week, but I leveraged their time. And she's only 16 years old, and we're just really excited for that. Her first goal is to make more money per hour than she makes babysitting. And when she does that, she'll never get another job again. She'll never work again.
Yeah.
It's over. And then when you make more per hour by someone else's hour than you can make on your own, you're even more ruined in the best way possible. It's awesome. It's super fun. So, do you have any other comments? Anything you want to share that we have going on right now? We're going to talk about this in the Build My Money Machine part module, but just kind of quick updates with us at Millionaire University. And we share all these things with the hope of takeaways for you guys. And like I said, these are going to be things we're going to talk about more in upcoming modules, but create the life that you want to live. This is something Tara and I are always talking about. There's no point, in my opinion, of having money, having a successful business, if you're not living a life that you love. And at the beginning, when you're building that, yeah, you got to sacrifice some. You got to put in that extra time. You can't build a house if you don't build the house, right? You can't enjoy the benefits of homeownership if you don't first build a house. And nowadays, we typically buy the house, right? But you get my point. If you're out in the middle of nowhere, you got to build the house. And that takes a lot more time than maintaining the house. So business is no different. It takes a lot more time to build a business than it does to maintain a business. And we have done this time and time again. We've worked with people who have done it. Even more recently with Millionaire University, it took a good year or so of testing, trying, creating a ton of content, building things up. Even with this being our, what is it, our sixth business?
Mm-hmm.
How many times did we bang our head against the wall? How many failures have we had?
I mean,
a lot.
A lot. Yeah.
There's an answer there. There's an exact
I
answer.
don't have the exact number.
But yet here we are. And even recently, we've talked about how it's amazing that within a year and a half, almost 2 years now, we have this business that, sure, it maybe isn't making as much money as our goals are always like the BHAG, right? But we're at a point now where it's bringing in a good extra profit center of $20,000. And we spend very little time working on the business ourselves. So we built these other businesses, we've sold them, we have a profit center there, we've invested money, we have profit centers there. And now we have this other business that we can turn it up or down to whatever degree we want. We were saying today with the podcast, we kind of have the numbers dialed in pretty good to where for every episode we put out, and this is a lot of insider information, we just want to share this with you guys just so hopefully our hope is that you see it as motivational, inspirational. But every episode we put out, we know that we make around $700 to $1,000 through sponsorships, and that's without additional promoting of that episode, right? So just the organic reach. And let's just say our costs are much less than that. So now we're to the point where like, okay, we just need to keep making good content, right? Because the three things we always want to do is help people make money, have fun. Help people make money, have fun doing it. As long as it meets those three criteria, let's go. So if we put out more content that's good, high quality content, and we're making money from putting out that content, and we're having fun doing it, which for us, having fun is we like to put out content when we want to, but we also like to go to Disneyland. We kind of had a thing of going to Disneyland lately, just on a whim. We're going to go to Universal Studios next week, just Tara and I, stay the night. But our lifestyle is so important to us. We've worked hard for it. And we found ourselves at times, even with Millionaire University, going back to, okay, we have all these things we have to do. I'm like, hold on, we don't need the money. It's the fun part. I want to make sure we're having the fun part. So a business, it's hard, but it's not that hard. It's hard, but you just got to take the action, do the things, and then you'll see huge results from it.